Channel 251. Yes, I'm not a lady, but I'm on the Her Network because Samantha has begged me, come on the Her Network. You got to be on the Her Network. So I don't know if I should wear a wig or anything like that. Her Network, of course, launched on Friday. Hardworking, empowering, resilient. And that's what the Her Network and everybody on Barn Burner has. We have a special guest. I'll let Samantha do the honors here. Welcome to Lavish. Go ahead, Samantha.
Yes, thank you guys for all coming to tune in to this special episode of Lavish. This is my good friend Essie. She's from my university from back then too. But I wanted to invite her on today to talk about the whole thing, the whole crisis that's going on in Nigeria today. So, it's gonna be this whole episode. We're gonna be talking about it, asking a lot of questions, and just finding out more on what we can do and how we can spread awareness today. Because this is just such an important topic for everyone to come together to help out where we can. So, Essie, how are you? What is going on?
I'm good. I'm doing really good. Thank you so much, Sam and Joe, for having me here today. It's actually such an honor to be here today. And yeah, I'm doing really good. How are you guys doing? How's everything going?
Good. We're just here, to support you guys however we can, and using this platform on ZINGOTV channel 250 and hopefully soon channel 251, to promote more awareness. I have like a tongue twister today. To promote more awareness about these topics.
So I see. I'm gonna ask you this. Okay, we hear everything that's going on in Nigeria with SARS. So for people who are watching and listening to this on 250 or 251, can you just give us a brief synopsis of what has happened, and then we'll continue on with what is currently going on and what people could do to sort of help out?
Okay, so in Nigeria right now, there's a lot happening, and it's really, really sad. It's scary. There's just a lot going on. So basically, there's the hashtag is called NSARS, right? SARS is spelled CARS, SARS actually, and it's basically a special anti-robbery squad, right? This was a group that was formed and assigned to the Nigerian community about, let's say, 8 years ago, right? And this particular group was there to protect the people, was formed to protect the people on the streets. So this group is different from the police and the army and everything. Just like it's just another group, right? It's an anti-robbery squad, like what it's called. But unfortunately, it is very different now, right? The squad basically harasses people, the Nigerians in the country, right? So it harasses and targets young people, so youths, basically between maybe ages 16 maybe to almost 30 max, or 25 even, right? And basically just young people, people that look young to them, mostly the guys, right? They target them and basically profiles them in the little things that they have. So in the little things such as if you have an iPhone, if you have a laptop, if you drive a nice car, if you look good, if you have dreadlocks, if you have anything that makes you look
Tattoos,
expensive.
nails
So they
done,
immediately,
anything.
exactly, anything like that makes you look expensive and nice. They immediately assume that you are part of like fraud, that you do fraud. Immediately they see that, they begin to profile young people that look like this, right? This has been going on for years. But this time it is different because um I think so basically on the 3rd of October, someone died from SARS, right? And people have been dying over the past few years, but suddenly people woke up because on October 1st was our Independence Day in Nigeria, right? We turned 60 years old, and it seemed like, so we've been 60 and nothing has changed in the past 60 years. What went wrong, right? And suddenly everyone's eyes opened on the 10th of October. People were going on the streets protesting, saying, okay, we need something to be done. We need a change in the government. We need to hear something from the government. We don't want more people to die. People came out to share their stories all around the country. This is different because people in diaspora as well, Nigerians, non-Nigerians, everyone, is getting to add to, what the Nigerians are feeling, they're getting to speak more, they're getting to say more and actually see this is what we're experiencing. These are our stories from the past few years. This is my story. I know with people, when you personalize certain things and you share your story with people, people can understand and actually kind of relate with that, right? So this has caused something so different in the country in the past 26 days, right? It's been crazy. There's a lot of, protests, and there's a lot of deaths as well. It's been scary. At the same time, it's been different because we have hope for a better Nigeria, right? So kind of like a summary of everything that's going on right now. Right. So yeah.
Definitely. I feel like with a lot of the things that are going on in the media, like on Twitter, it was so confusing, especially for me. Like, it was so confusing to understand what was going on. I was seeing hashtag and SARS and stuff like that. But as you said before, this has been going on for years, right? So I guess was the breaking point that somebody recently have died? Like, I know there was like a blackout that happened as well. Do you want us to tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Yeah, of course. So basically, on the 20th of October, 2020, right? This is 6 days ago, right? There was a blackout that happened. So basically the NSARS hashtag has been trending all over Twitter, right? All over Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, mostly Twitter, right? And people went to go protest, right, on the 20th, all around the country, right? But mostly in a place called Lekki. It's in a city called Lagos, one of the biggest cities in
The hotspot cities, yeah.
the hotspot city basically in Nigeria, right? So you know how in Canada we have Toronto, right? It's that big, it's that kind of a city. So it was, let's say, in a big spot, and everyone was there protesting, getting their voice heard. And let's say about 1 p.m., the governor of the state suddenly announced on Twitter that, okay, we're gonna have a curfew by 4 p.m. So everyone should get home by 4 p.m. But this was 3 hours before. So how are you announcing a curfew 3 hours before and expect everyone to get home? People are at work. He announced this on Twitter. So what about people that don't have Twitter? How are they going to see there's a curfew? People that have the protest already, how are they going to know about this? So he announced it 3 hours before and said there's a curfew and people have to go home. So
usually do people get informed when the government gives like some sort of announcement? Do they get informed from their news network, like the TV network or something, or is it?
Yeah. So most times we get informed through radio or through TV, but with this particular NSARS movement, suddenly the government has been kind of addressing us more on Twitter because that's where we've been going back and forth with them. But it's still kind of weird just because not everybody has Twitter, right? So we bias to a certain audience in the community, So he addressed that and said there's going to be a curfew, and by 5 p.m., these officials came and they turned off all the lights on the streets. It's called the Lekki toll gates, right? It's a toll gate where people pay money to go across, and they turn off all the lights. This toll gate always has lights every time of the year. They turned off all the lights on the streets at the toll gate. Everything, they took off all the security cameras, every security camera around the space. They took it off, and people were still protesting them. People were trying to leave. And suddenly, I think at about 7 p.m., before 7 p.m., the army and everyone, the police, mostly the army, they started coming with their tanks and everything. And everyone was like, okay, what's going on? And then the Nigerian protesters sat there. They were singing the national anthem of the country. They were holding their flags and singing, trying to be peaceful. There was no one was armed, just peaceful protesters.
No violence.
Right? No violence, nothing. They were just sitting in front of the toll gate, waving the Nigerian flag and basically singing the national anthem. And by 7 p.m., the shooting started. So it was an immediate shooting. It was dark. There was no light, no cameras, nothing. It was just a shooting.
SARS started shooting all the peaceful protesters when the blackout just happened at that time.
So at this time, it wasn't the SARS, it was the army that was shooting.
It was the army, right?
Yeah, so the army came and was shooting at peaceful protesters, shooting at everyone and anyone that was close walking. People were running at this point, trying to get away and everything. It was dark. It was silent. It was, lives were getting lost. Like people were dying, people were getting injured. It was crazy. And I think how the whole world found out about it was, so there's a particular person that was there at the time, right? Her name is DJ Switch on Instagram. And she went live in the middle of the genocide.
She's a DJ and she's not even an activist, guys. She went live.
She was just there, yeah. She was just at the massacre, right? And then she went live on Instagram and was kind of showing everybody, okay, this is what's happening now. This is what's going on right now. People are dying. That place is on fire. This guy is injured. So basically just showing everyone what was happening. Basically almost every Nigerian I know was on that live because that was the only source of information that we had in that point because no news outlet was covering that. right? They wanted it to be really silent and hidden, but we're like, we have to see this. Everyone joined this live. We're all on this live. And on that live, she tried her best to record all she could. She was also trying to help people on the ground as well. I on that live I was on, I literally watched someone die because they couldn't save his life. He died from a couple bullets, So we watched him die there. It was dark. It was so dark they had to use like phone flashlights to kind of remove bullets from people's legs, and that's not possible, right? And then
And just
we
to
through the live, we
interrupt
tried
you,
calling
just
the
to
ambulance,
interrupt you
asking
one
the ambulance.
time, just to interrupt you one time, for the viewers, just so you know, is that the army, the police, SARS, and all the news outlets all work together to support the government. So the news is not like how it is in Canada or the States, where we have different type of outlets or platforms that kind of like tell the different sides of the stories, give you guys different insight. So maybe two outlets in Nigeria, I believe, right, probably do that, or other organizations try to speak out on things like this, or they always neutralize the narrative where they just talk about like, maybe there was a collision at that time, but this is what's actually happening. So when Essie's speaking about this Instagram live that happened, she was videotaping from inside the protest where people were getting shot and stuff like that. And obviously not everyone can go on their phones at that time when they're trying to, get some safety or get coverage because there's shootings going on. People are dying right in the streets there. But obviously this is just a serious situation. So continue. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to inform.
Okay, hold on. I have a question here. And Sam,
Yeah, go ahead.
the way I go already.
Mm-hmm.
So who gives them a right? Who gives them a right to go out and shoot people? Okay, I have black hair. Does that mean I'm going to go to Nigeria? I'm going to get shot? Who gives them the right? Where's the government when in Nigeria, if you see this live, and it doesn't matter if it's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Periscope, Snapchat, whatever, if you see it live, why isn't somebody in the government of Nigeria saying this is wrong? Who SARS, let the group, I'll handle SARS in 2 seconds. But if they see this on one person does this video, and then it goes to 2 people, 5 people, 1,000, 10,000, and nobody stands up and says, what are we doing? Where's the government of Nigeria and saying what the is going on? I'm not going to swear, but what is going on here? Where is that there? Sam just said it. Everybody works together. Well, if everybody works together, why isn't every one person saying something's wrong here? What is going on? Something's wrong. People are dying. We talk about, and I don't want to say this North American thing, Black Lives Matter or whatever, but one person videotapes it, and that one person shows it to the world, and nobody can stand up in Nigeria and say, what in the blue whatever is going on here? Like, what is going on there? And then you hear about racial profiling. Like you said, if you drive a good car, oh, well, you're stealing it, you're this, you're that. What is going on there in Nigeria? Because you said, one, I'm listening to everything you said, and thank you for joining us. Secondly, I'm listening to everything you said, and this is not going on like yesterday, a month ago, 2 months ago. This is going on 6, 10, 20 years, 60 years. You said it's your Independence Day and all that. When is somebody going to raise the roof and put the flag there and say, this is my country, this is what I believe in, right or wrong? It's wrong what you're doing. And when is, because you have, and you don't know this, when Sam told me we're going to do this discussion, I have a friend who's Nigerian, and he's a basketball player. If anybody knows the Toronto Raptors, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to put him out there. I spoke to him. All right. He is the only guy who I know who says this is wrong. And for your knowledge, he has a meeting with whoever the prime minister or he said a government official in the next 2 weeks there. Okay. But he said within the next 2 weeks, at least 100 more people will die. Okay, so if he already knows that in 2 weeks something's going to die, where's the guy in the front line in Nigeria saying preventing this? Why is nobody calling up anything and say this is wrong? Hold on, Let's see what's going on. What is this corruption like crazy? We talk about the orange person in the White House, orange person, I'm not going to say his name, the orange person in the White House, okay? But what about in Nigeria? What about in these other small, Nigeria's like, it's a small country, but people know Nigeria. But you go to Nairobi and stuff like that, it's a smaller country, and people are still, it's even worse. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, definitely. I don't know if she's there, but I definitely agree with you 100% on this type of topic. I believe that, like, you know, this needs more awareness. I know that when I was speaking to Essie earlier about all of this, she said a lot of the protesting and all this is to shame the government. And on social media, Beyonce, Demi Lovato, a whole bunch of other celebrities, I think Rihanna, and even the CEO of Twitter himself has spoke out about this, has even donated, I don't know if it was like 1 billion or 1 million, but a lot of money towards
Beyonce, and who else you said? Demi Lovato, and who else you
Demi
said?
Lovato, and I believe Rihanna, and
Beyonce and Rihanna want to hit me up, talk to me.
Even Hillary Clinton, Joe. Hillary Clinton even said, "Shame on you."
Not her. Maybe Beyonce, Rihanna. Okay, Beyonce, Rihanna. If they want to hit me up, we'll join together with. I don't know if I'm gonna say it out there. You saw it in our Twitter group. Who sort of direct or text me this past weekend, and I'll get him involved in this because something is going wrong there. And we lost our guest there. Hopefully, our guest will.
Back in, yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back here, but it's interesting to say, because you talk about the U.S. Oh, there's the election in 8 days and the orange person and all this, but nobody. This is the world. The world is under COVID. So what are they doing in Nigeria and other places that the government, first of all, corrupt? Second of all, it doesn't matter about people. It matters about this, which I don't have any. Sam has it, but like when is it enough? We talk about Black Lives Matter. We talk about it's time for the change. We talk about not wearing your mask, whatever, but nobody listens to anybody nowadays. And the government in Nigeria, our friend Essie is back here, but the government in Nigeria, what is going on there that nobody steps up and say what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing, there's no price in the world for killing somebody because they have brown hair, because they drive a Toyota or whatever. There's no price.
Or you have tattoos, nails, dreads, whatever it is. It should not be a way to provoke these kind of people. No, Essie, as I was like, Joe was just talking about it and talking about how can we, spreading awareness is one thing, but what's the next steps to take action and stuff like this? And I know, like, you told me that there was a couple of activists and organizations that were kind of strategizing for new ways to, proceed, now that they said that did they ban the protest now? Because I believe it stopped.
Okay. Just to kind of go back to what Joe was asking earlier on about why is no one kind of, holding them accountable, right? I think just if I go back to Samantha's question, I think the issue is that in Nigeria there's no accountability, right? There's no accountability within the government. There's no accountability between, the president and the vice president. There's nothing like that, right? So in a way that everything is connected, from the police to SARS to the president to the government. Everything's connected. It's basically rooted in corruption, and there is literally no respect for the Constitution, if that makes sense at all, right? So
who stands up and say, okay, that is, I don't know about Nigeria, I've never been there, but obviously from what you're saying, it's a fundamental problem. How do they switch and say, look, it's 2020 going on almost 2021. The world's not the same like with 6-7 months ago because of COVID and all that. So how does it change? Or who is going to lead the change? Is it Samantha?
Honestly, before I think Sam actually asked me this question. Definitely, there's some people like in the government that are good people that want change and want something new. But it's the kind of thing where their voices cannot be amplified because, when there are more people in office that obviously have more power and authority and more money in doing certain things with the government, they will do it whether you have a good voice or not, right? So anyway, that in, let's say, the main office now, the H.E.R, which is kind of the main place, right, for all the government officials, there could be maybe two good people and eight bad people, right? They have the two good people. Their voices are not going to be amplified as much because the other people have more power and more authority and can do whatever they want to do. So obviously, this has been going on for a long time, and Nigerians got so used to it to the point that we were literally suffering and smiling, getting used to everything that happens in the community. It was a thing of, our country is this messed up. Just get used to it. It is what it is. If you can work hard, work hard. If you can leave the country, leave the country. If you can get your papers and go somewhere else, do so. But if you can, just work hard. That's just the way the society is. Everyone just got used to it. But this was obviously a time where everyone actually was like, no, you know what? Like, I'm gonna do something about it. This is my country. I'm gonna stand up to this government. But it was kind of thing where, even when the government comes out to like a protest, they ask, okay, who's in charge and stuff like that. No one wants to identify with who's in charge because their lives are gonna be at risk. They don't want to do that. And like it's a thing of we don't say our voices want to be heard. We say our voice wants to be heard. It's all of us. We're one body, one people. So it's literally the people against the government because there's no accountability. And anytime if the government find out maybe there's one person behind this or two people behind it, which there isn't, right? They are gonna hold those people accountable, and those people are gonna get in trouble. And no one wants to get in trouble for trying to find a voice in the country that they love. That's why it's a general thing, right? And related to what Sam was kind of asking like earlier about, activists and all that stuff, right? So there've been a couple people on Twitter that have come together. There's been someone called Renu on Twitter, Savvy Renu. There's been someone called FK Abudu.
And the CEO of Twitter as well. Remember, you told me something about that as well.
I'll get to that. There's also someone called H.E.R. Yusufu. So these are women, all Nigerian women that are speaking up in different ways, right? And then, so there's also like an organization of women called the Feminist Coalition, right? They're basically the financial backing behind this entire process, right? So, any money that's being donated to them goes into the process, right? So like basically the main finance holder of everything that kind of goes on, right? And the CEO of Twitter, right? Awareness got so far to the point that we purposely made NSAS trend on Twitter for about 10 days straight. It was trending number one in Canada, number one in Nigeria, number one in America. And obviously he noticed that, he's the owner of Twitter. So he noticed that and he posted a link about it and said, okay, go donate. He donated as well. Go donate on this website, the Feminist Coalition on their Instagram. This is them. You could donate through Bitcoin. You could donate through this account. You could do this. You could do that, right? He spread awareness on his account. If you go through his Twitter, you can see that he's talking about it as well. And I was really shocked because I'm like, wow, this is CEO of Twitter. He's this involved in what is going on in Nigeria. Like, wow, But he was engaging with it the entire time and everything too. So that was really, really interesting. Kind of brought like a different audience to the conversation as well.
And forgive me for getting personal, Essie, but from last I recall, you are an international student here, and you are from Nigeria too, born and raised, right? And you do have family back home. So like, with everything going on, are you kind of scared from here too? Like, do you check on your family as often? What does your family say about this? How do you feel about this? And how does this kind of affect you, not being able to be there? I know you were supposed to go back in a month, but now that everything's going on, I'm like, Essie, I don't want you to go back. I know you have a laptop that you're using right now and an iPhone and those nice glasses. So I'm like, I just hope, like, obviously I wish your family the best and stuff, but how does this affect you here, And I know you're doing all of this online activism. You told me you were doing a couple of other groups talking about it with people to make yourself more educated, So why don't you explain a little bit more about that?
Okay. So basically, it's actually super scary, right? Because I have family in Nigeria, right? Like, my nuclear family, my extended family, I have a bunch of them in Nigeria, right? And knowing that they're not safe is kind of scary, I mean, my family doesn't live in the main cities. They don't live there, but they live in like a separate space. And I spoke to my mom and my dad a couple days ago, and they couldn't leave the house or go to work or anything for a week. And my sister couldn't go to school. It was that bad. There were shootings outside. So it's like their lives were not safe, And it was really scary for me because I'm calling them every day, like, oh, are you okay? Are you staying home? Like, don't go anywhere, don't go out. And they're like, they can't even go to work. They can't even put their lives at risk because it's like, okay, I don't want to die. I have you, I have, your brother, stuff like that, right? And then like obviously I have friends as well that are also trying to go back home in December as well. Me myself, I'm trying to go back home too. But an issue is that it's scary. It's like, you don't want to go back. There's many people that go back home and never return because they end up dying because of this whole situation. you know. And obviously, I haven't experienced as myself. I know people that have. I have a brother too that he can also be profiled because of how he looks as a black young man. So obviously, these kind of things are really, really, really scary because it's like, is your safety really guaranteed? Or you just have to pray that I'm gonna go out, I'm not gonna die. Actually,
Mhm.
even like 2 days ago, I spoke to my cousin and I asked about his experience as well, right? And he told me about his experience with SARS. He's experienced them over 5 times on the streets. He said that, for the last one, he went to go bail out his friend, and they took him into a cell. This literally he went there to go bail someone else and they arrested him.
Mhm.
He looks like he's part of it as well. Do you understand what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say? They took him
Yeah.
down to the cell and he explained how dark and scary it was. There were no lights, nothing. He
Mhm.
literally felt so hopeless. He felt like this was gonna end. This is the end of his
Mhm.
life. And he was there for about 5 hours. But the only way he was able to get out was because he had an uncle, like my uncle, that was able to get him out. But that's only because he knew someone. So imagine he didn't know someone.
Mhm.
Imagine he went to the station with his sister, but so imagine he went alone. They wouldn't have known where he was. They wouldn't have known that
Mhm.
he got arrested for trying to bail someone out. So that's how much.
Right.
So you say you want to go back. Is there a particular reason you want to go back? Is it
I'm
just
just
to
gonna go see my family. Yeah, just see family, right? I haven't seen them in quite a long time and stuff, right? So I really wanted to see my family. But at this point, it's like,
is it worse now than it ever has been?
yeah, it is. It
It was
definitely is.
like it's like one of those breaking points that I think that I don't mean to compare it to the Black Lives Matters, but with George Floyd and all of that, this is one of those breaking points where somebody died literally on Instagram Live, and that blackout, I feel like those are really like causing it up. I know like the NSARS and like even right now Twitter has that new emoji that's like the fist and then
Yeah,
the Nigerian flag. And like, I've been seeing all on my Facebook feed everywhere. I know like as I was telling Joe before when you came off, Beyonce, you told me Beyonce has posted about it, Demi Lovato, a couple of other celebrities there too, and stuff like that. But everyone's been speaking out about this and how it's just been, like a lot. And I've been seeing like a whole bunch of Nigerian flags with blood all over on my feed on this. And I'm just like, and everyone's just reaching out and yelling and like, in France, in Germany, everywhere around
All
the
right, so
world, India.
hold on. So I have a big name. You know this, Sam. Okay,
Yeah.
and all joking aside, Beyonce, Rihanna, those are the people who can make a difference. So if Beyonce can stop playing tapes of me and listen to me and look at me right now, all right, Beyonce, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, The Rock, whatever. These are the people who can make a difference because when they talk, people listen. So instead of
But
just
it's one thing, Joe, it's one thing for the celebrities. This is not like the Black Lives Matter protests where they're in the States and they can talk about it. The
exactly.
government of Nigeria is so stubborn. Like from hearing everything she's told me
They
about
are
this,
so.
like I know Essie didn't want me to mention this though, Joe, but I want to say it to you because I want to know your opinion on this too. Most of the SARS, I know they're all different groups. The army's different, the police is different, but SARS, most of the SARS, people, the guys, there's mostly male in there than females, they're ex-convicts. Now, I know this is a controversial topic because I'm not saying that, an ex-convict, they serve their time, they've done what they can, but coming out and this is usually something a group where they can go because I guess the government provides them with some sort of income, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that it's bad that ex-convicts are having that much authority and are given weapons as soon as they come out or whatever to keep the people
okay.
or
What's your
keep.
question?
So my question is, how do you feel about that? I feel like I know it's controversial, but do you think that that
This
is even
is
okay?
where
What does
Sam
that say
gets
from the
me in
government
trouble.
themselves?
This is where Sam gets me in trouble. Okay, so it's quite interesting to hear what she said. The people within SARS are convicts or whatever, but the government knows them. The government are relying on the people who they put behind bars. So figure that. Think about that for a second. Okay, you do something wrong, you go to jail, but they say in order to get out, I'm going to give you money and go kill somebody. That's what they're telling people who they arrested. So why are you arresting him if he's going to do something even worse?
Right. And these SARS people are not held accountable because they work for the
Of
government,
course,
right?
they're working for the government. It's everything. It's like greasing the palm there. Okay, so like I said, this is the best way I can put it. Okay, you're a criminal. Well, you're not but you know what I mean.
You
Okay?
served your time, but now you're out
You're a
and have
criminal, but in order to get out, you got to go and work for us and kill people and don't say anything. We'll back you. So if these guys, the government, saying this to the criminals already and we'll back you and all that, how do you trust the government when it's time you do kill somebody? Are they going to look the other way and say, well, we knew you're going to do it. You did your job. Here's $20,000, $50,000 or whatever, and that's it. Or you killed somebody. We're going to put you back in jail and do it again in a year. You'll be in jail, but next year we'll let you go out. Like, what is the...
Actually, just to like add on to that, right? They actually don't. So basically, kind of everything that's going on right now, the government does that because they use poverty in Nigeria as a tool against the other people, if that makes sense, right? So in a way that they want to keep these people poor, they want to keep them in prison, right? So even if, let's say, they come out, they kill people and all this stuff, they're not going to be taken to jail. None of the SARS people have been arrested since this whole thing. Not one has been arrested, right? So they're not going to take it to jail, and they don't pay them like $20,000, $15,000. They probably pay them like
even if there's evidence,
$10.
video footage of them killing
they don't
somebody.
care.
They
There's
look
evidence.
the other way. They look the other way.
They look the other way. There's
Because
evidence.
they need them. They need them because the government is not... Okay, I'm going to say it. The government is not doing the dirty work. They got somebody like as he said, somebody who's in poverty who, okay, do this and we'll look, we won't do anything, but you do this, you got to do this, they brainwash them to doing it, to say it's okay, and then they don't get in jail or whatever, so they feel in their head, because they brainwash them, it's okay to kill, it's okay to beat up.
So what you're telling me is, for a SARS officer who has murdered 75 people, they're not going to arrest him, but they're going to arrest a peaceful protester?
Yes,
Exactly.
because it's brainwashed.
So these are the people who are behind bars now in Nigeria, protesters, peaceful protesters, instead of the actual criminals themselves on the street.
And then they come in and brainwash them in order to get
So
out.
They literally tell them that, and these are people that, because of the amount of poverty that they're in and the amounts, like, when you want to take care of your family so bad and they pay you a certain amount, you're going to do it. You're going to do it.
Family's everything.
I'm trying to strategize here because I'm like, okay, so in the States,
when I think of the strategize, Sam.
No, hear me out. In the States, when the Black Lives Matter whole protest that's still going on, happened or whatever, there was also a lot of statements made, right? And this could be from a police officer resigning, or refusing to work. But as you're saying, poverty is used as a tool. So
you say that's in the States. Nigeria, she said it, as he said it quite succinctly, 60 years of this. Now it's coming to light. 60 years of this. And you talk about Black Lives Matter. It's been going on for 70 years here in North America. And then finally people are standing up. 60 years in Nigeria. And now people are standing up. It's not going to change. It hasn't changed from the year 2000. We're in 21 years already. It hasn't changed since 1980, 40 years already. It hasn't changed since you were born in 1950. So look, it hasn't changed. So what makes you think now it's going to change? What's going to change? It's being shone the light. Exactly. Now they're showing that what they're doing is 1,000, not 100%, 1,000% wrong. And guys and ladies who have a voice, look, it seems you talk about Black Lives Matter and you talk about Floyd and all that. I'm just going to say, we're a sports entertainment network, but when they walked out Milwaukee Bucks, Milwaukee called the government of Wisconsin and got the guy on the phone. What I'm saying, this, like The Rock, like Beyonce, like Taylor Swift and Rihanna and all that, they can make a call. We want to talk to the Nigerian government. Nigerian government, what are they going to do?
That's
So hello, yeah, it's Rihanna. Oh, but then when, oh, Rihanna called, oh, hi, how are you? Oh, yes, yes. Well, no, no, it's overblown. What you see on TV, it's just, no, no, it happened one time. It doesn't happen again, or whatever. Why doesn't Rihanna take a flight over to Nigeria to see it herself? She's got $10 billion. Take somebody from the country and move them into America.
You got to still remember, Joe, COVID is still going on too. So I don't know if they're allowing.
Forget about
yeah.
COVID or whatever, because 6 months from now, when COVID hopefully is finished, she's not going to do it.
So just to add on to that, right? Like that question is that with these people are influential, but they're not powerful. These people have influence in terms of they have numbers that follow them, people that follow them, but they don't have power in terms of the Nigerian power. So in a way that the Queen of England can, not even the Queen, like a prime minister or whoever can just fly into a country like H.E.R or someone can fly to Canada and be like, yo, Trudeau, do something about it. Like obviously they can, question them and stuff, but it's a thing of I can question you, you can choose not to answer.
No,
Do you
but
understand what I'm trying to say?
here's the difference. Here's the difference. From what you're telling me, they are one thing, they're greedy for money.
Exactly. There's
So
a lot of greed.
what does these guys, yes, they have influence, but they have more money than Rihanna has more money than anything. Okay, stop buying Michael Kors bags and do something about, look, she's laughing, she wants a Michael Kors bag. Okay, so like, look, stop buying those bags and do something. Everybody, when they had like a couple years ago or several years ago, We Are the World, that song, all these guys came together and they gave the money to the people who need it. Come together, Rihanna, all these guys, and I'm not throwing Rihanna under the bus. Whoever, Rihanna, whoever, even me, Jolted, I'll sing. Sam wants me to sing, I'll sing. All right, so come together and donate the money, because the government, when you show a check for $250 billion, they will look and say, okay, stop the violence. I guarantee you, you show them a check, $250 billion, because that's what they can do. These Rihanna, Beyonce, and all that, and probably give me $50. But like, look, they what you can give them a check, then the government, because the
But
government.
that's another thing, right? Like the people, obviously, the government obviously is money hungry, but they're also power hungry. It's like you telling them take this money and leave, but they're like, I could make so much more and still control the people. Just what I'm trying to say. They're not gonna want to leave they're gonna want to leave power, right? And like just to add
Why
to
you negotiations, bring in Obama there, or bring in somebody and say, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it in Nigeria to see what's the truth there. And if this happens in 6 months again, we are taking back the money, we're taking back all this. You'll see, it's time for a change. It's time for a change. You, from being from it and your family and all that, you have said it. 60 years. It's time for people to go, and Sam, you say it the best, and I'm not going to equate this, going to the dollar store here and people look at you. Okay, going to, you're in the street, the poor people in Nigeria in the street, even having a coffee and then getting shot down. Okay, what is life? Life is to be lived, not looking behind your back and say, oh, this guy has a gun or whatever. Life is to be lived. Look at the time we're living right now. In COVID time, where they say you have to wear a mask, don't go out, do this, don't do this, don't do that. And people are, oh, I can't wear masks, I'm not going to wear masks, this is all fake news, this is all this. But then you see something that, like you said, in Nigeria, a lady tapes it on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, then it hits home, or should hit home. And what are they doing? You said this is 6 days ago. Somebody could tweet, Donald Trump, the orange
yeah.
girl, tweets.
Honestly, related to that, Hillary Clinton actually tweeted about it. She asked the president and said, shame on you, you gotta do something about this. But he didn't answer. So what he did actually was that I think on Thursday he made like a presidential speech, right? He came online, he spoke, he also tweeted about it as well, right? And I looked through his tweet, everyone read his tweet. And we all looked at it. And he, in summary of what he said, he basically said that it seems like, we're taking that maybe this is the time for him to finally speak. That this is he needs to speak now, and suddenly taking his silence and his acting for a weakness, right? I basically said that every international person needs to mind their business, literally. Do not come into the issue of the country, right? And
Well,
he
what do you
said,
expect
as a
from
protest,
Orange? What do you
huh?
expect from Orange? Like, what do you expect from? Do you expect anything else? This guy says,
She's
No,
talking about the president in Nigeria,
oh,
and then but has Donald Trump said anything about this too?
no, he hasn't.
of course he
But
has.
he doesn't even address Black Lives Matter, so I don't even see
First of
why
all,
he would even.
he has COVID and goes to 7-Eleven and he takes a Slurpee and it has 12 people driving him around while he has COVID. Come on. Alrighty.
No, I
He
feel like a
hasn't
lot of
said
people have
anything
that
about it.
mentality that it's like if it's not my issue, it's not my problem. But
Yeah,
this is a big issue, and I think
this is a
It's a
big issue.
world's problem, not Nigeria's problem. It's a world's problem
It's a
because
world's problem, but the president can choose not to answer the world, right? Because he's the only one. Him and the whole government are the only ones that can actually act
well,
on
it's
it. And
time to overturn the president.
when is the next election for the Nigerian?
it's in 2023, so it's 3 years from now. But more lives are gonna be lost by then. So it's like, what are we gonna do? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, we are oppressed so much. We put, so back into the wall that people are tired. Like, you want us to wait 3 years?
Yeah, but like honestly, in 2023, okay, somebody new comes in. Are you telling me somebody new who has a new vision, or it's the same old? It has been going on for 60 years.
Yeah, honestly,
Well,
for the past 60 years, it's the same people that have been in power, the same people. So obviously, like with this time around, like we're all really praying that we're able to strategize, So because since the presidential speech, right, everyone was taken aback. We're like, whoa, everyone was not having it. We just since then everyone's kind of been calm a little bit, because the president literally stopped protests in Nigeria. He said, do not protest anymore, there are gonna be consequences. You have exercised your rights and it's enough. Do not protest anymore. Obviously, only Nigerians outside in the
So okay,
diaspora.
so here because we got 10 minutes left. So here in your way of thinking, okay? And we're joined by Essie, a friend of Sam. We're talking about SARS going on in Nigeria in here on the Lavish Barn Burner TV network, Zingo TV channel 250, 251, her network. Okay, in your eyes, what can happen immediately? Or even if you say, yeah, this can happen or whatever, do you think it will happen immediately?
Honestly, I feel like the only ways, is if the people in the government resign, right, and other people step in. But that looks like, is it gonna happen, right? But in our own little way, the only little way is actually the people of Nigeria. Like, we're all trying to educate each other and strategize. Like, okay, if protests can't reach the government, what else can we do? So now we're just like, personally, I'm in my own little way.
raise my hand like Joe.
Wait, hold on. What is this, grade 2? If you want to say something, to say it.
No. Continue. I see. Continue.
Yeah, in my own little way, I've been trying to spread awareness, like, protest and, educate people that also do not know about it as well, because poverty is a tool in Nigeria, right? So might as well educate the ones that are struggling in poverty and ignorance as well, right? In my own little way. So it's like, obviously waiting to 2023, right? We can't wait that long, but that's kind of the only thing we're looking at right now. That there's gonna be someone that's gonna go into power that, obviously start working with those people, and like have pure people that, have passion and not greed for money, or, not trying to sink in the hole of corruption, but people that actually want change and actually see other people that can run with them, so having the same government, because it's been the same government running over and over and over again for the past 60 years. These are the same names that have been in power since I was born, right? So it's
60
like,
years old?
huh? No, not me. Like, since I was born, like, I don't know, but yeah, since I was born, like the same names I've been hearing over and over again. I don't really hear new names.
This goes to my point of it's time for a change.
Exactly.
But nobody, I don't know if I should say this, has the balls to make change, because even if they throw tomorrow the government or the government, even the entire government of Nigeria, you're telling me 60 years, okay, they bring in a new government. There's not one person who they're going to bring in is corrupt and doesn't see
Well,
the way they're thinking.
The elections are a little different though there, because I know if you have money and you have connections, that's what's getting you to the tops.
Exactly.
In the States, like
yeah.
we were talking about this yesterday. In the States, there's like what, 4 people running or whatever, but the main names is Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Other than Kanye West, who's partially on the ballot sometimes here and there. But and this
I'm
kind of
looking
brings
at
me back.
Kanye West right now.
Well, this kind of brings me back to the whole thing that's like, leaders in power are there to serve and protect. What are you serving and protecting in Nigeria? Who are you serving and protecting? This reminds me of the video. I don't know if you guys seen it. The video that surfed up on social media surfaced, and it was a whole bunch of bags of like the supplies, the noodles, all that stuff for COVID, all of that. And if the department of Nigeria sent that and that's supposed to be given out, it was a couple of protesters who broke into one of the the Royals' warehouse and found all that stuff.
Yeah, so basically those were the COVID palliatives, right? That were meant for the people. So like food and everything that was meant to go to the people, because how in Canada when we went into lockdown, the government tried to provide for us in little ways. That's how it's meant to be, right? Because you can't work. So when we went to lockdown in Nigeria, right, they meant to provide food for the people, but the government did not give the people. They kept this to themselves, right? So in a way that, this was discovered, I think like a day or two after the massacre, so on the 22nd, right? A couple people went into he's called the Oba of Lagos. It's like a royal, right? And then they went into his warehouse and saw a bunch of stuff in a way that it took like 24 hours trying to take stuff out for people. And then Nigerians were like, maybe every other every other state has this. So all around Nigeria now, people are going to warehouses, thousands and thousands and thousands of people taking food, noodles, rice, this, that, like different food.
Why would they withhold all of those big bags that were meant to share
any sense? Because they can afford it for themselves. They can afford it for themselves, but it's just greed. They don't want to give it to people because they want people to stay poor.
Well, that's exactly their mandate here. You said it. To serve and protect with the cops, with all this. Their mandate is not to serve and protect. It's to serve this hand with more money. That's it. That's the mandate. Everybody like, okay, we're in Toronto. Okay. I know Ottawa or whatever, but everybody wants to make money for what? To provide a better life, get it, be healthier. But in Nigeria, you want more money, and correct me if I'm wrong, to get a better life, but to be elevated into the government, where if you're treated like gold, because if you're in the government, you're treated like gold. Okay, but somebody has got to step up after 60 years, or maybe, and when I say somebody, maybe a group, a coalition of 25, 30 people say, here's $100 million, get the hell out, and that's it.
Honestly, just to like add to that too, like in the country, it's more like either the people that are interested in politics are either probably trying to get more money to go into politics, or if you ask a regular Nigerian citizen, if you had this amount of money, what would you do? They would tell you they're trying to leave the country.
Yeah, everybody. And do you blame them? Everybody wants to leave the country, and everyone, want Canada, and like, let's face it, Canada is the best place, because if you look at the States,
Canada's better.
Okay,
because while we're in quarantine, there, people in like this just reminds me that while we are hiding in quarantine from coronavirus and all of that, those type of people in Nigeria are hiding in their houses from SARS and from the officers. Like, and this reminds me, this literally scares me, because I used to say, like, who am I supposed to call when I can't even trust the police, right? What if they think I'm the one who did the thing wrong?
In there,
pardon?
Is that why you call me all the time?
No. And then while they're like, who are you supposed to call? Not the army, the military.
You can't call the army. You can't call the army. You can't call nobody. And even in people that were in their houses, the police officers and SARS, they went on the streets and were killing people, robbing people, entering into people's houses in Nigeria. This happened a few days ago, right? There was someone that he died. His name is Okay, right? He died a few days ago. He was in his house and the bullet came into his house, into his window, through his house, and killed him. Right. So even in your own home, you are not safe.
Are they breaking into people's houses too? Like you said this before.
There's armed robbery as well going on as well. Like there's armed robbery going on as well. Like my roommate, for instance, right, a couple days ago, she was scared because there was armed robbery going on her street, and she's like, "Okay, is my family going to be safe? I don't know. Can I sleep well? I don't know." Do you know what I'm trying to say? So even in your own home, you are not safe. Even as a peaceful protester, you are not safe. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So people
even
want to
with
leave the
the
country.
girl, can you explain a little bit too? Even with the girl, the DJ girl who recorded this on Instagram Live of when this whole massacre was kind of going on. Didn't you say that her life was threatened?
For a couple of days we didn't hear from her. She came on Instagram. She told us that her life was threatened. Like, they in her own home, her life was threatened. So she had to like literally flee from her house, and she's been hiding for a few days right now. So that's just her volunteering to like record the genocide live. So imagine people that actually try to go to the government street. They're in trouble. People want to live to see the next day. It takes a lot for someone to actually go against the government, right? So people are like, either you're a politician and you're in power, or you get enough money and you leave the country. That's how people are handling it, because people are scared. People have lost family members. People have lost brothers, sisters. I've almost lost family members too from this whole situation. And there is no accountability. Nothing the government is doing to arrest people. SARS are not getting arrested. Police are not getting arrested. Armies are not getting arrested. The government uses poverty as a tool to arrest these people, and to arrest the people on the streets, the peaceful protesters, right? And there's no consequence for these things. They're not getting into prison, right? So it's just like right now, people are just trying to strategize, like, okay, what can we do to get to the government? Because our president is obviously not. He told us stop protesting. He told us keep quiet. So right now, just Nigerians diaspora are trying to protest, like I am doing, but people in Nigeria are just very hopeless right now. We're like, okay, we have hope for a better country. We're in a season of change, but how do we go about this change?
Okay, so we got 2 minutes left. Essie, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you here as we close off Lavish here. Go ahead.
Definitely. So you can definitely reach me on my Instagram. So my Instagram is Essie, so it's ESSY 3Y, so ESSYYY.I, right? And it's kind of confusing. So my first name ESSY, and it has 3Ys and then there's I. It's my session now. It's gonna be there. Reach me on Instagram. Reach me on Twitter. My Twitter is _ESOHEEE. So that's _ESOHEEE. It's kind of confusing.
I'll probably tag it in my
story.
story.
Instagram is better and easier to find. So yeah.
Sam, go ahead. We got 1 minute left. Tell them how they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, for sure. You guys can get a hold of me on Instagram at Samantha_media. And same thing on Twitter, just with an extra A at the end. And I'll probably tag Essie there as well, so you guys can see her feed and see her posts. I know she posts daily about these type of situations, but I just want to thank you so much for joining us today on Lavish, to speak out about this. You are so brave, and I wish you and your family all wellness and all the best. Like, I keep checking on them, and please don't leave next month. I'm so scared. It's like a scary movie that's going on in Nigeria, like The Purge or something. I can't handle it. It gives me so much anxiety. But thank you so much for coming on too. And
thank you so much for having me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Samantha and Joe. This means a lot. It's a good opportunity to spread what's happening in Nigeria.
And let's see if something happens, and you're welcome on here anytime you want to. Let's spread the word of what's happening in Nigeria, and next time we talk, hopefully it's better terms there and all that. But everybody who's listening and watching this on the Barn Burner TV network, H.E.R network, anywhere you go, life is to be lived. And see what's happening in Nigeria. You're scared even to go. For people complaining, oh, they can't take they can't take COVID. You got to wear a mask or whatever. Wear a mask. That's it. Well, look what's happening in Nigeria. They can't even go out without the people you trust are the worst. Who do you trust? Like Sam said also. So believe in yourself and believe that there's going to be a better tomorrow, or better in 5 minutes, or better in 10 minutes. Believe and trust. We're put on here for a reason. We shouldn't look back. We should look ahead to Samantha, hopefully kids, to Essie having kids. Sam's laughing. She wants 7 kids with an 85-year-old. With an 85-year-old. But look at the future, and let's hope for a bright future in Nigeria, and let's hope for a bright future in the United States. 1 week from tomorrow, Orange will get squeezed, and let's see if there's a new Big Apple in the White House. All right. So for Sam and for Essie, you've been watching Lavish here on Barn Burner TV Network, ZINGOTV channel 250, and on the H.E.R network, channel 251. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.